Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video, and today we're going to be talking about knots. I'm going to keep this video short, so we're just going to talk about 3 knots that I use. And black line will represent braid because these are the knots that I use when I'm fishing ultralight. And when it comes to ultralight fishing, you have to consider some factors here in the Middle East. It can get very humid and it's hot. So when I'm fishing, especially with ultralight, it's kind of time bound. Everything is, including when you're tying knots. You can't tie PRs or FGs. If you can, great, but I'd rather be fishing. So we have white to represent mono, black to represent braid. What I do is a knot called a surgeon's knot, okay? And it's usually used for 2 strands of line that have varying diameters, but I found that it works great for braid and monofilament splice. So this could be nylon, this could be fluorocarbon or copolymer. And the way I start it is to create a loop with both strands and then pass that through. Basically, it's kind of like tying an overhand knot. Okay, so what I do is just pass the line through over and over again about 3 times. Okay, so for bigger lines, it's 3 or 4, and we're gonna do 4. Okay, this is my standard right here, 4. Okay, so once you have that, it's important to pull all 4 strands together. Okay, and then let go of the tag, pull your braid and your leader, and then the last step is to pull your tag ends and cinch that down. Okay, so in practice, what you do is actually lubricate the line with saliva or water before you cinch it down. Okay, now very important, you have to have a very good cutting tool. Okay, I'm using this Storm pliers because it has a serrated blade on one side, and what that does is it grips the braid easy and it cuts mono like butter as well. So pair of scissors or something like this would work well. And I trim the tags as close to the knot as possible. So if you've done right, it's not going to slip. Okay, so that's the first knot. Now the second knot is a uni knot. Now there are ultralight lures with split rings. Okay, so what I do with the uni knot here is cinch it tight and not form a loop. Now you're probably asking why I'm not using a snap. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay, so tighten that down. Like so. Now, if you have a split ring on your lure, there's really no need to put another piece of hardware in front of it. Just tie a knot. It's less visible, doesn't affect the action, and it's really stealthier, and that's kind of something that we're going to talk about in a bit. Okay, so there's your knot, standard uni, something that I use a lot. Now, here's a very good example of a lure without a split ring. So what I do here is still tie a uni knot, but a bit different. Okay, so standard uni knot. Okay, what I do here is once that loop is formed, I slide it up to the eye, okay, and then I pull the tag. And what that creates for me is a loop. And the loop is just right. Okay, so quite a good trick for you guys out there if you like attaching lures with a knot instead of a split ring or a clip. Now, the reason why I like this is because once the fish bites, the knot actually compresses. Okay, when you're fighting the fish, it slowly compresses, and since it's underwater, when the knot singes down, what happens is that since it's lubricated, the heat will not really form, because when you're tightening knots, especially with monofilament, it heats up and weakens, and this is the reason why knots actually create weak points in your leader. So with this, since it's lubricated, it'll just slide and it won't heat up and it won't weaken the knot. So just like that, and you're reeling the fish with a solid connection, and that's a big thing for me, especially with ultralight fishing. Now, this is one of the reasons why I tie really long leaders, because I cut back. Each and every single time I catch a fish, I cut back. Okay, and that's it. I tie another knot. Like, easy for me, and over the years, I did spend quite a long time with snaps, but I found that with this system, it's just easier for me because I can actually tie a knot faster than I could open and close a really tiny snap. Now, here's the biggest reason though, okay? So here we have a soft plastic with the tiniest snap I could find. This is a size double or 000. It's tiny, okay? Let's zoom in just so you guys could see, okay? I mean, look at that. It's less than a centimeter. And most guys actually use snaps that are not right for the size of the lure that they're using. Now, this one is a, say, overall a 5 centimeter lure, okay? But with the snap, it's 5.5. And for me, you go through all this trouble of making everything stealthier with long leaders, with thin line, and then you put a piece of hardware there that sticks out like a sore thumb. So for me, that kind of doesn't make sense. Now, if we took this off, okay, and in its place, we tie a knot. That's what you get. So if you tied a knot as opposed to a snap, that's what you get. And as you can see, it's stealthier. And for me, that matters a lot, because when you're fishing, at least for me, okay, when I fish, I have to have the most chances of catching fish out there. And if I have a snap, fish might bite. But if they don't, just because of that snap, then it kind of becomes a negligence on my part. So again, for me, I'd rather have a knot than a snap, just because it's stealthier. Okay? And also, one of the reasons why I fish really long leaders is because every time I catch a fish, the next fish will have a fresh knot. Okay? So if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next one.